Good day everyone, I am Vian Limas from BSHM 3B and today I am going to report Chapter 2, the Philippine Institution. So our learning objectives identify important provisions in the Philippine Constitution related to tourist and travel, enumerate the rights of travelers as well as entities engaged in the entire tourism, travel and hospitality industry, and organized industry research. So the law. The Constitution is defined as the original and fundamental principles of the law by which a system is created and according to which a country is governed. So it is the fundamental law of the land to which all other law must conform. So it is a written instrument by which those powers are distributed among several departments for their safe and useful exercise for the benefits of the body politic. So, there are some of the constitutional provisions related to tourism which may be given preferential attention. So, these are Article 3, the Bill of Rights, and Article 12, the National Economy and Patrimony. So, first we have Article 3, the Bill of Rights. So, Section 1, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws. So, discussion of the law. So, under the Constitution, the term life, of which a person may not be deprived without due process, means more than animal existence. So, with the emphasis on social and economic rights at present, life includes at the very least the right to a decent living. So, according to Justice Malcolm, liberty means that measure of freedom which may be enjoyed in a civilized community consistently with the peaceful enjoyment of life, freedom in others. So, property, defined as anything is or may be the object of appropriation. So, anything which has money value and which is supposed to be within the commerce of man is embraced in the term property. So, equal protection of the law means persons similarly situated should be similarly treated. There should be no favoritism. Uniformity of treatment should be the rule. So, the benefit of membership in the state as well as the burdens should be distributed in equal measure. Due process of law. So, is a law which hears before it condemns. So, proceeds upon inquiry and renders judgment after trial. Does not necessarily mean a judicial proceeding in the regular court. So, it implies due notice to the individual of the proceeding. So, an opportunity to defend himself and the problem of the property of the deprivations. So, must be resolved in a manner consistent with essential fairness. So, it means essentially a fair and impartial trial and reasonable opportunity for the preparation of the defense. So, the essential requirements of procedural due process in courts are as follows. So, first is there must be a court or tribunal clothed with judicial power to hear and determine the matter before it. Second is jurisdiction must be lawfully acquired over the person of the dependent or over the property which is the subject of the proceeding. Then third is the defendant must be given an opportunity to be heard. And last is judgment must be rendered upon lawful hearing. So the law. In many instances, communication and correspondences are inevitable in the tourism, travel, and hospitality because of its daily use. So it is important to understand what laws may be applied. So we have section 3. So the privacy of communication and correspondence are shall be inviolable except upon lawful order of the court or when the public safety or order requires otherwise as prescribed by law. Then, any evidence obtained in violation of this or the preceding section shall be inadmissible for any purposes in any proceeding. So, discussion of the law. So, the forms of correspondence and communication that are covered in this provision includes letters, telegrams, telephone calls, messages, and the like. So, Republic Act number 4200, otherwise known as the Anti-Wiretapping Law, provides penalties for specific violations of the privacy of communication. So, under Section 3 of the Act, the court will authorize wiretaps in certain crimes such as treason, espionage, provoking war and disloyalty in case of war, piracy, mutiny in high seas, rebellion, conspiracy and proposal to commit rebellion, inciting to rebellion, sedition, conspiracy to commit sedition, inciting to sedition, kidnapping, and other offenses against national security. So, any evidence obtained in violation of the above shall be considered fruit from the poisonous tree, so shall not be evidence in any administrative or criminal proceeding. So, the law, section number 4. No law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech, of expression, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. So, discussion of the law. Speech, expression, and press include every form of expression, whether oral tape, CD, or DVD recorded. So, obscenity is defined as it includes materials that which, taken as a whole, appeals to the appropriate interest and lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. So, the law. Every person has the right to travel and reside anywhere he chooses. So, section, the liberty of abode and of changing the same within the limits prescribed by law not be impaired except upon lawful order of the court. So, whither shall the right to travel be impaired except in the interest of national security, public safety, or public health as may be provided by law. So, discussion of the law. So, this constitutional provision guarantees freedom to choose and chance one's place of residence and dwelling place, and freedom to travel within or outside the country. So, an order releasing a person accused of a crime on bail is similar to a lawful order of the court as contemplated under the above provision, and a whole departure order may be issued as this is a necessary consequence of the function of the bail bond, which is to secure the person's appearance when needed. So the law, Section 8. The right of the people, including those employed in the public and private sector, to form unions, associations, or societies for purposes not contrary to law shall not be abridged. So, discussion of the law. So, government employees are now given the right to form unions. However, the right to strike is not included in the right to form unions. So, unlike those employed in the private sector, so government employees do not have the constitutional right to strike as a mandate under civil service rules and regulations prohibiting government employees to strike. So the law, section number 10, no law impairing the obligations of contracts shall be passed. So discussion of the law. Under the Civil Code, the contract constitutes the law of the parties unless it violates some provisions of law or public policy. So not all impairment of the contractual provisions violate the Constitution. So the Supreme Court has pronounced that a valid exercise of police power of the states is superior to the obligations of the contracts. So now we're in the article number 12, National Economy and Patrimony. So it is important to be informed of some of the constitutional provisions on national economy and patrimony because some are applicable to tourism. So, section number 10, the Congress shall, upon recommendation of the Economic and Planning Agency when the national interest dictates reserved to citizens of the Philippines. So in the grant of rights, so privileges and concession covering national economy and patrimony, the state shall give preference to qualified Filipinos. So the states shall regulate the exercise authority over foreign interest within its national jurisdiction and in accordance with its national goals and priorities. So, discussion of the law. So, the patrimony of the nation should be conserved and developed refers not only to our rich natural resources but also to the cultural heritage of our race. So, it also refers to our intelligence in arts, sciences, and letters. So, in its plain and ordinary meaning, the term patrimony pertains to heritage. So, when the Constitution speaks of national patrimony, it refers not only to the natural resources of the Philippines, but also to the cultural heritage of the Philippines. So, the law, section number 11, no franchise or any other form of authorization for the operation of a public utility shall be granted except to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations or associations organized under the laws of the Philippines or at least 60% of whose capital is owned by such citizens, nor shall such franchise, certificate, or authorization be exclusive in character or for a longer period than 50 years. So, discussion of the law. So, the first sentence provides that public utility franchise will be granted only to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations at least 60% of the capital of which is owned by citizens. So, the second sentence allows the legislature to impair obligations of franchises when the common good so requires. So, the law. So, there is a provision in the law that limits the practice of profession. So, this may shortly change because of the reciprocity, especially when certain agreement in the World Trade Organization covering movement of people and services will be implemented globally. So, section number 14. The sustained development of a reservoir of national talents consisting of Filipino scientists, entrepreneurs, professionals, managers, high-level technical manpower and skilled workers and craftsmen in all fields shall be promoted by the state. So the state shall encourage appropriate technology and regulate its transfer for the national benefit. So the practice of all professional in the Philippines shall be limited to Filipino citizens, save in cases prescribed by law. So, discussion of the law. So, the above constitutional provisions mandates that the practice of a profession is reserved exclusively to the citizens of the Philippines. So, the foreign investment negative list specifically provides that foreign investors are prohibited in engaging in such undertaking. So, in addition, the states shall prioritize Filipino talents for employment in the country. Aliens may be employed but must obtain a working visa from the Bureau of Immigration and a working permit at the Department of Labor and Employment. So that's all in my report on Chapter 2, the Philippine Constitution. So I hope that you've learned something. Thank you for listening and God bless.